Good morning, people, and yes, it's another Dave's Diary update. Not that there's probably going to be much to update, but before I do that, I go down to the mailbox, well, have a look anyway, and see whether there's any more deliveries, and once again, have a look at all the weeds I have to get out of this driveway. And it's a bit breezy, not freezing or anything, but yeah. I was going to go outside and do some gardening today, but yeah, I think the workshop might hold more attraction for me. I'm waiting for a few deliveries, of course, and nope, not there. Okay, it's a bit grey actually, this sky. Never mind. Put my order in for the laser cutting project, so that hopefully the drawings that I gave them just on a sheet of paper will be sufficient for them to cut my profiles. They wanted a DXF or DWG file format, a CAD format, which my SketchUp drawing program, or the version at least, doesn't have. Apparently you can get add-ons or apps to convert them, but I couldn't find it, so there you go. Right, what are we going to do in the workshop today? Well, what I should have done probably almost a week ago, and that's start cutting down the panels, but that time period has allowed me to think about some other things related to the work surface, or rather the miter station, and the different items that's going to make it up and make my life a little bit easier. One of them was, as I'd mentioned in the previous video, I think I did, I made up a pattern on a scrap of custom wood that is the same size as the panel that eventually the saw will be sitting on and will be adjustable. The idea being that I can hold the saw down through those little holes in the feet onto this panel, and then the panel can be lifted up and down for fine tuning for height. It can also accommodate, I said, some lateral movement. Well, that's so that we can fine tune it to any any tape or rule or whatever that we have on the side. We can fine tune it. And I was just thinking about that, and I thought, well, no, you can't actually. The way I'm going to mount it is going to be rigid. So therefore I can't fine tune it, or not easily anyway, because thinking about it, what I was going to do was to use some offcuts of this to mount in front of each of the feet. That does allow sideways movement of the saw, but the bolts won't. So my good idea is not so good. Yes, I do need to have hold down, physical hold downs, and I'm wondering, is there any way for me to accommodate a little bit of movement sideways? We're only talking maybe left or right 5 millimeters one way or the other. So is there any other way of achieving that and allows for that fine tuning? And as I said right at the beginning here, I want to make the changes to this to make my life easier or more enjoyable when I'm using the tools. So that's something I might think about. How do you do that without fixing down through those holes, which are kind of pretty much static, more or less? And that would be to have some sort of hold down like this. The point being is that I need to physically locate the saw from going backwards and forwards. That's achieved by these little pieces, probably 60 or so millimeters long, that sits in there hard up against that foot. That accommodates it locating rigidly that way. The bolts that were going to be used here to fix physically sideways and were the adjustment mechanism or for that area. If I move it one way or the other, the hold down now would restrict that. But can I make some sort of hold down this way with the steel? It's not a biggie. If I don't have any lateral movement adjustment, that's not going to be an issue. But as I said, it would be nice to be able to accommodate that sort of fine tuning. And I made a bit of a claim last night about, like I've seen other people try and do that with their fence that they've got their measuring system on and their stop blocks. And I thought some of them were really, really good. Some were a bit of a pain in the butt. But I thought this one will be a better way of doing it, and I can accommodate the fine-tuning in the base itself. The option, I suppose, is not to make... This is actually interesting too. Not to make the base exactly the size that fits in between the two upstands and have the base able to move sideways. After all, no, I hear my own thoughts out loud, hence why I keep on saying how the Dave's Diary entry videos work. As soon as you hear your own thoughts out loud, trying to explain it to you, then sometimes they, prove how silly that idea was. If the base moves, then the same issue of the jacking of the base, which is a good idea, runs into the same problem. It's supposed to be as rigid as possible without the possibility of movement. And one of the methods of that was to have the actual plate, the custom wood plate, run up hard against the upstands. That physically locates it sideways. It can't move, which is probably the most important alignment for the saw. So that was how I was achieving that. The fact that it's sitting on 4 bolts, there is that possibility of it articulating slightly on those bolts. So, darn it, I'll give it some thought. It may be that we do have a combination of this bracket, this little plate that we'll put in here, and a little... Oops, pointing the camera in the right direction. Hang on, let me just reorientate you. The gimbal sometimes moves around. It's one of those types of cameras. That's better. Pointing and alignment is the same. Yeah. Anyway, if you've got one of those cameras, you know what I'm talking about. The plate in there could include... If I had a threaded hole, I could pull down onto this foot via that hole. Not a 14mm hole like this one is, but that sort of thing there, could it not? That holds down, which is what we need to do there. Physically stops there. That same plate winds down onto this. That stops moving. Undo that. And I might have to have a wee bit of a think about that. If I can do that easily, it should be okay there. Should be okay there. I'm wondering whether we can put a little plate. I'm going to have a wee bit of a think about that. Actually, there is some merit to it. Okay. Decision not made. But that is a nice... I'll go back to what I said in other videos as well. You know, I do repeat myself. One of the benefits of working slowly is that you can think of this sort of stuff as you go through and you're about to do something that is going to be set in concrete or set in custom wood, and it might bite you in the bum. And having that saw fixed securely down, you've got 3 axes, haven't you? X, Y, and Z for fixing the saw. The plates in front and back fix it in this axis. This axis would be fixed by the block on the side here, which will push up against this via the head of a nut or bolt. And when I can screw that in, I can then make this whole saw move backwards and forwards, but it is still fixed in this axis because of those restraining or restricting nuts. Good. And then the Z-axis, if we're saying vertical, can be achieved simply by holding the foot down via a little like clamping process of what I've just described, the thread in there, etc. So you get what I mean. If you don't, yeah, well, you don't. But that then fixes the 3 axes of that saw, and it's quite adjustable. Yeah, I like that. Right, I'm going to run with that. Okay, so now back to this, cutting down the panels. What I should have been doing a week ago. Had a little bit of a glitch. I was trying to get the 3, 4, 5 method using the nut and threaded rods. Had a bit of a glitch, as I mentioned last night in the video. If it gets posted in that video, I've said that I'm talking with the place where I got the machine from, and they, like me, were a little bit surprised that the shaft that goes through the motor and mounts the drum of the sanding belt and the disc of the disc sander snapped. How it's even physically possible to do that, I don't know, but they said that that's what's happened. So hopefully I get the shaft back from them so I can show you, because it's just beggars belief. So that needs sorting, and then I can carry on with that. As I said when I was walking down to the mailbox, I've put the order in for the bars, which are kind of make one or the other is going to become kind of redundant. I'll carry on with the nut and threaded rod way of doing it, not simply as an exercise but proof of concept, because I think it's a really good way of doing things in the workshop rather than having to have a like a laser cutting company do the job that you want done for the 3, 4, 5 method. Brain kind of working and mouth not. Anyway, or vice versa, you might say. Yeah, so there's that. So I've got that to do, this to do, that to think about, out in the garden. Yeah, I've got a few things to do. And the one that takes priority is this. Break these ones down to a little bit closer, maybe not the final dimension, but closer. Some of them may be cut down. I'm having to allow for the clashing strips, and I might convert some of the strips that I've got up there for that purpose. They were to be used with the top here, the bench, and the miter station. Sorry, not the miter station, the router cabinet. But I've got some left over, or not yet used, and I might repurpose them, remill them, and I can put them on the edges here, because some of those final cuts will have to have the clashing strips on, and I want to cut them oversize so that I can run the track saw along and cut the clashing strips to dimension. I think I'm going to give that a crack rather than trying to make the clashing strips the final dimension. So yeah, or not, or I just simply run them through the thicknesser. Thinking about it. Yeah, might do that. That might be easier, or a combination of both. These are these decisions that you have to make on the fly sometimes when you're doing things. Right. I can't put it off any longer. I better get. I've got my sheet here that has got many of the measurements, and yeah, better get to it and stop talking. Yeah, I think you'll agree with that. Right. Seeing you've got that sort of attitude, I'm going to go away and do some work. Okay. See you in the next one now. Bye.